and welcome to the Football for Kids podcast with me, Darren Rees. It's time for episode 7 of Barca-Week. Please, if you haven't already, make sure that you've hit the follow button. And if you can, please leave a 5-star rating and a review. In this episode, we are going to be speaking about one of the greatest midfielders the sport has ever seen. A Spain and Barcelona legend, and now the FC Barcelona manager. The man who goes by one name really, and that is Xavi. In life, some of the greatest to ever do it, in whatever field it is, are known by one name. Like Pele, Maradona, Ronaldo, Messi, and Xavi is certainly one of them. Before we get into this episode properly, let's have a look at some of your messages and your reviews. So a big shout out and a massive thank you to Tay12365, which says, "Your brilliant podcast, 5 stars. Dear Darren, I love your podcast, and my favourite episodes are the ones which you did on Wayne Rooney parts 1 and 2. I support Manchester City, and my favourite player is Jack Grealish. I have been listening from the start and would love it if you could do an episode on Onana, the Manchester United goalkeeper, or Sergio Aguero, as I've heard he was City's greatest goalscorer." Well, a massive shout out to the person who left that 5-star review, and don't you worry, Sergio Aguero and Onana are on the very long list of episodes which I need to make. The next one on Apple Podcasts with a 5-star review is 88 Goat 54. It says, 5 stars. This is Bew from Kent. You are my favourite football podcaster. Well, thank you very much. And I hope to take inspiration from you in the future. I listen to you every night. And if you wouldn't mind, could you do an episode on Thorgan Hazard? And then Bew finishes his shout out with an almighty Zoo. And the last one is from Jack. 5 stars. Hi Darren, I love your episodes, but please can you do one on Portsmouth, also Bishop? My dad supports Man United, so can you do one on Roy Keane and Bruno Fernandes? Also Garnacho and Mainu. Can you do a shout out to Oldham Bulls and Jamie, Charlie and Teddy? Bye. Well, Jack, a massive thank you for being a continued listener of the Football for Kids podcast, and thank you for taking the time to write a 5-star review. You don't realise how much it helps. So a massive shout out to you and everybody that you play football with. Now, that's all we've got time for in terms of shout-outs, messages and reviews. If you want the opportunity of getting a shout-out or putting an episode request in, then please ask an adult to head to www.footballforkidspodcast.com. The website link is in the description of this episode. Or, if you're a super listener on Patreon, then you can send me a direct message on there. And I may well be able to give you a shout-out. I do have to say that I cannot give everybody a shout-out because of how many messages come in. Right then, let's get into this episode about one of the greatest players to not only wear a Barcelona shirt, but to wear a football shirt. And that is the man who goes by one name, Xavi. Xavi was born on the 25th of January in 1980 in the nation of Catalonia. Football runs in the blood of Xavi's family. His dad was a footballer and played for a team called Sabadell. Xavi's brother also went on to be a professional footballer, and he's currently Xavi's assistant manager at FC Barcelona. When Xavi was growing up, he liked many players from the Spanish leagues, but he was also a big fan of English football, and he used to watch a lot of it. He enjoyed watching the likes of John Barnes and Paul Gascoigne, 2 proper legends of English football, and 2 players I've just realised we haven't done episodes on yet. Xavi's father, being a professional footballer in the Spanish top division, was obviously a good thing, and the fact that he had a football-mad son who was passionate about the game and had some good connections was a good thing as well. It's reported that his father was a big part of Xavi getting a trial at the FC Barcelona Youth Academy. Xavi had his trial and was completely sensational, passing with flying colours. So at around 11 years old, he was a part of the famous La Masia. Hopefully, you've listened to episode 1 on Barca-Week on La Masia, and you'll know all about it. Xavi worked hard in every training session and in every game to make sure he was the best player that he could possibly be. And because of this, he made his way through the youth teams and eventually found himself in the Barcelona B team. And he was a vital part of their success at this time. Xavi's first goal for Barca came in the Supercopa de España against Mallorca. It was in August of the year 1998. And what was even better, it was his senior debut for the club as well. Xavi, from a very early stage in his Barcelona career, had done everything to make himself a vital player and an important player to have on the football pitch. He read the game so well. He got stuck into every tackle like it was the last few seconds of the game and Barca needed an equaliser. He just played extremely fast and extremely clever football. When Xavi was on the pitch for Barca, my goodness, they were a serious side. Xavi was a leader and somebody that his teammates looked up to and looked at when the pressure was on, and he eventually became the vice-captain of the club. A huge achievement and privilege for anyone, never mind a young player who had come through the youth system and playing for a club like Barca. Xavi was on fire and his career was going so well. Barcelona were very happy to have him, and then in the 2005 to 2006 season, he suffered a terrible knee injury and had to have half a year away from football. There will be some of you listening to this who will know how horrible it is when you don't get to play football for a day. I can only imagine how tough it was for a football-loving man like Xavi to have to take 6 months off and get himself back to full fitness. Xavi was and is the ultimate professional, and he did everything the doctors and physios told him to do. And after 6 months, he came back fit and strong enough to play for his team again. He started on the bench in the Champions League final in 2006. He and his teammates went on to win it. He also was a part of a team that season that won the league, La Liga, and the Supercopa de España. Xavi was back, and he was back even more determined and even more motivated than he was before. That is a dangerous player. In 2008, Spain won the Euros, and Xavi was not only a part of a team, but he was named the best player of the entire tournament. I remember that tournament well, and my goodness, he was something else. When a player plays very well and are as good as he was, there are always clubs trying to get them and sign them up. Bayern Munich were keen on taking Xavi, and it's reported that he was considering leaving. However, Pep Guardiola had recently become the Barcelona head coach, and Xavi was convinced by him to stay. Pep told him that he was simply just too important to leave the club. Xavi stayed and went on to achieve lots more. In 2009, Barcelona made it to yet another Champions League final. This time, they would play Manchester United and they would beat them 2-0. Sir Alex Ferguson, who was the Manchester United manager and one of the greatest managers football has ever seen, said about Xavi and his teammate Iniesta this: "I don't think Xavi and Iniesta have ever given the ball away in their lives. They get you on that carousel and they can leave you dizzy." And when a manager like Sir Alex Ferguson says that about you, well, there's nothing more to say. In the 2009 season, Barcelona went on to win the La Liga with a record amount of points, which was 99. That has since been beaten by their bitter rivals Real Madrid, but Barcelona have also hit the record of 100 points as well. In the season that Barca won the La Liga with 99 points, Xavi was very close to winning a very special football trophy, which in Spain is known as Trofeo Alfredo Di Stefano. It's a trophy for being the best players in La Liga for that season. Xavi's teammate and good friend Lionel Messi won first place, Cristiano Ronaldo, who was playing for Real Madrid at the time, won second, and in third place was Xavi himself. He was so good in that season in particular that many people think that he should have won it. Oh, and by the way, In case you were wondering, Alfredo Di Stefano was one of the greatest to ever wear a Real Madrid kit. We'll cover him when we do Real Madrid Week. Xavi spent 17 seasons with Barcelona, making 767 appearances and winning every major trophy with the club that he possibly could have. Xavi left Barcelona in the May of 2015 after coming on as a substitute for his teammate and good friend Iniesta. At the end of the match, a very tearful Xavi and a very tearful 90+ thousand people in attendance said goodbye to one of the greatest players to have ever played for the club. After leaving Barcelona, Xavi finished his playing career in the Qatar football leagues, playing a number of games over 4 seasons. But in 2019, Xavi hung his boots up and finished his playing career. He won 8 La Liga titles, 3 Copa del Reis, 6 Supercopa de Españas, 4 Champions Leagues, 2 Euro tournaments and a World Cup. Xavi is now a football manager, and after managing a team in the Qatar leagues for a couple of seasons, he came home to Barcelona, where he is still the manager of the club which he is ever so familiar with, and a club that he has already won 2 major trophies with as their manager. I hope that you've enjoyed listening and learning about one of the greatest Barcelona players of all time. And I hope that you've enjoyed Barcelona Week. It's been great fun, and I've learnt lots too. I hope that Football for Kids continues to inspire you to be the best footballer and the best person that you possibly can. Thanks to the stories and careers of some of the greatest to have ever laced up a pair of football boots. And remember, if you know someone who loves football just as much as you do, then please tell them about Football for Kids. And whether you're playing football soon, watching it on the telly, or pitch side, I hope that you enjoy the game. See you next time.